Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a watch that launched in 2007 and made an impact. This is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Duometre chronograph. It is a 42mm rose gold foudroyant chronograph that uses two mainspring barrels and a single regulator to operate independent movements that exist inside of one case. That's a lot. I'll explain in a moment. 42 millimeters in diameter, 13.9 millimeters thick. From lug to lug, it is 50.3 millimeters, and it has a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The watch was initially made available in yellow gold, rose gold, and platinum, and this is a handsome, warm aesthetic. Modern in rose gold, it's a little bit more contemporary than the yellow gold model, and although it's not particularly thin, it is actually fairly easy to slip underneath the cuff, and you can see that right here. The timepiece is easy to wear on my 16-centimeter circumference wrist, and I actually owned this exact watch in white gold for 4 years, and I always found it was a large but secure fit. That said, I wouldn't wear it on a wrist much smaller than 15 centimeters circumference because it is broad and it is heavy. Taking a quick look at the strap and the clasp, you can see this is a JLC factory strap. We have medium rectangular scale alligator leather in black, semi-gloss. There's some bolstering to add thickness, a monotone stitch, sheer cut side showing the layers of leather, calf skin on the bottom. You can see this is a brand new JLC factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. A double deployant rose gold clasp matches the watch, and you can see that is your protection against accidentally dropping the watch while you're putting it on or taking it off. Taking a quick look at the case, you can see the JLC uses welded lug construction here, which is deeply impressive. You can see the lugs are stepped out from the case band, and unlike many Longa watches, which feature lugs held in place by screws, these truly are welded on with evidence of the weld removed, and then the case is double finished to create satination on the side and then polish on the lugs. The lugs have a little bit of a beveled profile. The bezel has a vertical section and a conical section. The crown features a wonderful double knurling that feels as good as it looks, and then you can see the outer face is both polished and media blasted with impressive attention to detail. The dial is a lovely sandpaper-like granular silver, and we have two different sides. We have the time-telling side, which has its own 50-hour power reserve, and then we have the chronograph side, which has its own 50-hour power reserve. You wind the watch in two directions like this. Winding in one direction energizes the chronograph mainspring barrel. Winding in the other direction energizes the time-telling mainspring barrel. A little bit more on that in a moment, but let's talk about what you're looking at here. So you have rose gold hands and applique numerals for the time, and then we have fired blue hands for chronograph sixths of seconds, seconds, tens of minutes, and hours. Then we have a little scrolling single-digit minutes disc that sits underneath the coaxial hour and minute display. And of course, we have that power reserve. Caliber 380 is used. There's a little rose gold plate so that you know about that. You can see the watch has both central chronograph seconds and central running seconds. So there's a wonderful pirouette to the two when they're both in motion. You can, of course, stop the chronograph. It is a mono pusher, so once you stop, you will need to reset, and that's a wonderful little piece of theater. The watch does feature hacking or stop seconds. Mine was the most accurate mechanical watch I've ever owned. It typically gained about 1 second per day. Now, rolling it all over, you can see the dual wing movement. It was inspired by a vintage minute-repeating chronometer pocket watch from the JLC Heritage Gallery, which is the factory museum, and that, I believe, was based on a Victorin Piguet Bausch. Now, this is all JLC. You have a barrel for the chronograph and a barrel for the hours and minutes, two separate drivetrains, and then acting as a traffic cop, starting and stopping the two in sequence, we have one escapement, a Swiss lever and a balance, beaten away at 21,600 vibrations per hour and free sprung for precise adjustment and durability. So you have two different power reserves, and both of them are 50 hours. So this is the only chronograph in the world where you can activate the chronograph, and not only do you not lose any balance amplitude, you don't lose power reserve, because when you double the power requirement here, you bring that second barrel online and you double the power supply. Now, everything that's silver here is steel. Everything that has a golden hue, with the exception of the balance and the wheels, that's German silver. A nickel copper zinc zinc alloy that would have been used on the original pocket watch that inspired this timepiece, which is one of the reasons this watch is often compared to a Lange, because they also use that Maillot or German silver material. Now, of course, the material has a Côte de Soleil, a sunburst radiating out from an imaginary center point atop the balance. So instead of Geneva waves, we have this Côte de Soleil. You will see both black polished screws, which are mirrored on their tops, and fired blued screws, which are blued in a kiln. And you can see there's satination on all the wheels as well as the barrels. And here we have a unique ratcheting click system that would have been found on that original 1880s watch that inspired this movement. The satinated elements atop the balance, those are actually made of steel, those regulator components. You can see the chronograph components, including the column wheel, are visible over here. It's a 4-column wheel for the mono pusher operation. And then you can see that there's a level of anglage on this watch that's better than any JLC you'll find for less than $100,000. When this watch came out, even though it wasn't priced anywhere near $100,000, it was a flagship in both technology and aesthetics, so JLC applied a level of finishing you will not find on mass-produced JLC watches, or really any JLC watches priced at under 6 figures. There's engine turning on the base plate, which you can see well. And then you can see there's a fantastic depth to this movement. All of this is water resistant down to 50 meters, and it goes through the JLC Master 1000 hours control, where it's tested for power reserve, shock resistance, water resistance, and chronometric precision. And the Duometres are tested to ensure they run no worse than a second a day, just like the JLC Tourbillon. There are different Master 1000-hour standards for different classes of watch at JLC. For something like a Tourbillon or a Duometre, it's always going to be 1 second or less. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.